You're listening to Entrepreneurs Club Radio with Kip Marlowe. This is a place where we teach entrepreneurship through real-world entrepreneurs and their stories of success and, yes, once in a while, failures. On the line, we have Mr. Tony Bass from Georgia, who's a serial entrepreneur. But, Tony, before we get to you, we have Ingar Grev as well, and he's going to talk about leadership. Ingar is a graduate of the Naval Academy, has an MBA from the University of Maryland, and is an expert on leadership. I hate to use the term expert, Ingar, but yeah, I think you are.
Well, I'm glad you're using it, not me, so
Okay,
appreciate
there
that.
you go. There you go. So what do you got for us today? I know that I've been telling everybody that you want to talk about it's starting with you. It starts at the top. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually going to change gears on you a little
Okay.
bit, and I'll explain to you why. What I wanted to talk about today was transforming businesses really starts at the top, and what I mean by that, just to talk about that really briefly, was something that's been reconfirmed for me recently is the idea that any time a leader wants to transform his or her organization, he or she needs to understand that it's going to start with him or her. I'm going to keep using those pronouns like that.
Gotcha.
But it has to start with that person. And I won't go into too many details here to protect the innocent, but I've been hired by a company to transform the performance of their organization, their team. And I realized during that process that's been going on for a couple of months now that they have a lot of problems at the top of this organization that is being reflected or manifested in how the team members, how the employees are executing. And this is something that I learned a long time ago, both academically and professionally, that change starts from the top. And I think in retrospect, I probably, when I agreed to this deal, I probably should have started with a consulting engagement at the top down, just to make sure that nothing at the top
Sure.
was going to prevent me from driving performance improvement lower down the organization.
Sure.
Bottom line, if you're going to try to do any kind of transformation in your business, and I cannot stress this more importantly, or more strongly, let's put it that way. I cannot stress this more strongly. If you want to transform your organization, you're going to have to look at yourself first.
Gotcha.
And say, boy, if my organization is not performing well, how am I, or what am I doing to drive that lack of performance? I mean, what are my actions? What are things that I'm doing that are preventing my organization from being as good as it can be? It all starts with the leader. So if your organization is not performing well, I tell you, you got to look in the mirror first and say, change starts with me. And that's a slogan, right? But I'm just telling you, as you know, you and I have talked, Kip, I don't sing Kumbaya, right? I mean,
Yes.
3 engineering degrees and an MBA, I don't really do much of the group hug stuff. I'm just telling you, change starts with you. You want to transform your organization, you're going to have to start with yourself first. There is no other way around it.
Okay, what is the number one thing, if somebody is a bit dysfunctional running a company, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are like that, what is the number one thing that they have to do to change themselves? That's a question for you. Now I threw a curveball at you.
Well, because I like to be able to give good, concrete, numbers by the statistics or something like that. And the answer to your question is they have to realize that they are the problem. Period.
Number one, that's the first thing. You got to
Number one,
realize
you
that.
have to make the realization that, if, for example, I remember talking to a guy a few years ago who said, Ingar, I'm really having a problem getting good people in my company. Everybody I hire only lasts for about 4 or 5 months and they leave. I mean, I'm really having a hard time getting good people into my company. And the first thing that struck me is like, really? Like, do you really think that you are just so bad at picking people that they can't hang around for 4 or 5 months?
Sure.
Or is it possible that you're just not doing a very good job of leading them? And I didn't ask him that question at the time. It's the first thing I could think about. Boy, if it happens all the time, if everybody you're bringing on board stinks, then
maybe it's you.
Is it possible that you're the problem?
I agree. Ingar, we're out of time. I really appreciate these tidbits of information. You're coming back, I hope.
Hey, I look forward to it. Actually, it didn't even hit on what I was going to talk about with you about today that I learned at the Naval Academy, but I'll share with you some other time.
You got it. Thanks, Ingar.
All right, take
Ingar
care.
Grev, the DC Growth Coach.